Welcome to the ETF2L 66 Summer Cup here in 2025. I am Rook and I'm joined by Ben as we're getting a match ready between the Czechs and Condogs team. I forgot the names. I've completely bailed on that one, but I'm definitely excited to see how this week one is going to kick off.
Yeah, it should be a good one. I know it's a lot of boomers looking through these rosters on either team, but it's a bit of a weird season, right? Because a lot of these players, like I know there's going to be Lucas in this game, but not with Witness. Like reigning world champion goes back to his roots, joins the rest of the Czech gang, and over on the Nunya team, there's this is kind of a mashup of players from everywhere, and by everywhere I mean like old Nunya rosters from like 5 years ago. So it should be weird. I really have no kind of scale for how games like this are going to show, because these players have been around forever, but a lot of them haven't played that much recently, particularly on the Czech side. So it could kind of go either way, but I don't know. I'm seeing Lucas in the server, so that does swing my biases slightly.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely going to be an interesting one. As you mentioned, it's going to be czuraci versus, I probably mispronounced that, versus Nunya. And yeah, as you said, there's actually, there's a lot of faces that people recognize. Obviously, as you mentioned, Lucas, who's obviously on top of the world right now, and you've got players like Voxy, Gigi, Condog, and such the like. So it's definitely going to be an interesting one. There's a lot of decent players to be watching, and some very mixed teams right in terms of what we're expecting from them. They've played together before, but they've not been on recently. So interesting to see how they mesh together.
Well, the game is going live, so we can stop the tournament and we can begin with the tournament. We can begin with week 1 of AFS 2025 with a very early ball from Gigi straight over the top onto Lucas, the aforementioned demo, taken out of this mid-fight instantly. And now, how do the blue Czech team try and respond to this? They're losing lots of players up on their own side. Big aggression coming out from Nunya, but they are actually finding some frags in return, and Condog might be getting caught out at elbow.
Yeah, it doesn't even get launched immediately. That manages to make a beautiful surf, but it's ringing of roses, and Pendejo will be able to take them out here as it is 1 versus 1 on the mid, but Loopy's way too low. And yeah, a really great start for czuraci.
I honestly kind of thought that mid was over. When I saw so many players getting caught, demo instantly taken out, but I know the recollapse from the Czechs was absolutely perfect. They caught a really late kill there over onto Condog. And I saw the surf coming in, I saw some low HP players, and I was like, this could be an insane clutch if he manages to pull it off, but not going to happen. And instead, we end up with a pretty even, stabilized situation here coming into the second point. Bree's going to jump in and try and get something going, and never mind, everyone else in Big Door has died.
Oh man, we were focusing on Lucas, right, as that, peak demo player, but Ratslayer steps up and absolutely destroys them completely, chunking them out, taking back that mid, heading on over to second, and now, Nunya, they're poised to look at last.
Yeah, there's actually, so fast, this entire transition. They're already in lobby, Ubercharge almost ready, second point not even capped up yet, everyone there caught in the forward spawn for a moment on the Czech side. They're going to have to back up to last, and they are going to have to wait and see what the Nunya side decide to cook up on this push. Is it going to be shorter? It looks like it might be, as we see the Uber already getting ready to come in.
Uber used right away. They're going to get rid of that sentry. They're going to try and lock the right-hand side, but SNH making sure that there's no stickies, denying that one away as Uber is ready to fade here as Misha pushes on out players, trying to get on top, but Lucas sitting back in water here, trying to unload that damage, but there's a lot of things going on. They have the support, but it wasn't enough. The players got on point and they couldn't hold them off.
Really nice Uber there. I don't know, from the first glance, it might look as if that Uber's kind of doing nothing, but they get so much space, they get one frag, and they're in the perfect position to recollapse onto that heavy that comes out of the from the left spawn from the attacker's perspective, and that heavy lives for about 2 seconds after walking out of that shutter, and it just at that point, the collapse comes in, and there's only so much that a soldier and a demo underpoint can do, and from what came off the back of a really decent mid-fight from the Czechs, we are already 1-0 up for Nunya in less than 3 minutes.
A lot of pressure early coming out from Nunya, not wanting to give up that space, but some bombs coming through, trying to solidify their position as Blair is under pressure as Gigi forces them back into second here. And Condog manages to, keep themselves alive, keeping their team up as well, and Nunya have just completely cut away this mid.
I think it's in terms of frags, it was even, right? But just that bomb from Gigi was so aggro, forced everyone out of choke. They had to back up so far on the Czech side. They're sending one soldier back in. Actually trading out for a demo is maybe not too bad from the Czech side in terms of maybe wanting to re-push this, but I don't know, pushing into these doorways onto Gully Wash mid is never easy, and I think it's going to be actually Nunya going in, trying to get something working. Elan's already in, trying to get a rocket onto Blair, but does not get the damage he wants after.
Probably not aware that they're up as much Uber as they are, so gonna try and play aggressive, get that force going, but it's to no avail right now. Condog not in a great spot, however, will be able to try. No, does keep GG alive. So much pressure going on, and all of their players are falling out. Such a late Uber here. Lucas goes down, yes, but this is A-okay.
I don't feel too bad being confused, because I think the chat calling has just said how in the chat. I think he's also very confused as to how they managed to get into that choke point so easily. They managed to kill practically everyone and get an Uber Force out for it as well. So Blair now sitting pretty on a full Uber charge, but for how much longer? Because GG has landed into his face. The Jukes, the dodges from Blair as he gets out to choke, survives the sack attempt, and now the Czechs can really, for the first time in this game, start walking forward with good advantage and try to get something going their way.
Yeah, they're going to look for a chance here. They force out Yunlin. They're going to be able to take that high ground and set Lucas up to just lock down some of those all-important areas. It's going to be fall back towards that last for the side of Nunya, but they are going to importantly, or most likely, it's not really enough pace coming through from czuraci here to get that Uber up, and then Condog will be able to keep their team in fighting condition.
The important thing, though, is that Condog has managed to build up a full Uber charge just about in time. I think this was about 10% early enough. I think 10% later on that Uber, I think there's maybe a chance that this Uber could instantly come in from the Czech side. But as it stands, they're going to have to play this long way, the boring way, the slow way. They're going to have to try to spam the gun, pressure in, maybe get some plays water. SNH already going down there, try and be a distraction, but the Pyro and the gun is proving quite the task to get rid of.
They try to put some players into main to get that pressure going, but a lot of health being lost. They do take down the sentry, but they trade a player for it. Interested to see if they're actually going to have enough space or even enough time to make anything happen. As they're starting to pressure up a little bit more. Some good reflects, and the heavy is up right now because they are aware that they could easily get pushed.
SNH might be coming up on Sniper. This is his known thing.
Yes.
He is a monster on Sniper. There are so many clips from his days previously, even at Poland lands, on the Samakot team as well, recently in Prem, and also over in the 9v9 game mode we don't speak about. SNH is a beast on this class, so it's understandable he wants to come up on it and he wants to peek his way in. Condog respecting it so far, tucks all the way behind the spawn door, trying to stay out of these sightlines, but it's never an easy task. One pixel shows, and SNH may well capitalise on it as he's trying to creep brown main, getting spammed out pretty well though. Nunya doing a decent job so far of stuffing him out.
SNH looking to S&D, seek and destroy any of these players that step up. Does almost get that heavy earlier, but just not enough damage, especially with that full buff. They are going to try and go for something cheeky here, but not quite happening just yet. SNH is eating that spam, but is going to stay up importantly, so they can jiggle things around, try and find an opening somewhere.
He's getting a couple of good attempts in and nearly lands that one there over onto Condog before being smited down by Yellen there. But he's getting chances. He's actually getting a couple of... Again, it's never easy shots when you're charging, going for those headshots, trying to fly around these little gaps between the pipes and such. But he's getting a couple of chances. You give him too many, he will eventually hit one of these. Coming back up on Sniper, he's feeling it. He wants to go again and run it back, and he's going to, hopefully for him, get some more chances.
I mean, it's a patient game on that Sniper and biding their time, looking for any opportunity they can get. That's great. With the sentry gun down as well, this is a good opening for them to start that pressure going. Misha is below. He's looking for a chance to push up. But if there is a player, an all-important player who goes down, that Uber's going to come, and that Scat is going to contest.
Yeah, Sniper as well can even try and block the people contesting point as well, which might be what SNH is trying to do here from main. There is a soldier that's potentially catchable up on GG, who's jumping around dangerously there. All he takes is one hero shot to maybe get cap time. There's loads of cap time and loads of players dropping onto the low ground. They might be caught now. Look at the health bars over on the red team. How are they all still alive? Oh my, I thought that was dangerous times there for Nunya, but somehow 6 people in the red are still up and fighting for this last point. But look at the cap time.
Yeah, I mean, this now means that a Sniper is all the more pressing, right? They can lock down that water. If there comes a push into any of this, one slip up, well, Nunya lose everything. Loopy goes down. That's an all-important first pick. That means that spam is going to be all the more relevant. Already, you can see them moving on into water. Mish is ready and waiting there. Wants to get that pressure going, takes a lot of damage, but has to back out here.
Yeah, actually, a crucial bit of fire damage there. The afterburn getting onto SNH, who is being chased around in lobby, despite getting the kill over onto Loopy. And now it means everyone has to get reset back. The cap time has slowly dwindled away, and with 1 minute left, SNH still deciding to go with the Sniper play. He's clearly feeling confident, but so far hasn't had the impact that I know he's capable of, and that he himself will know he's capable of. So maybe he's just thinking, you know what, eventually it's going to come. Eventually some crazy hero shots are going to come out, and again, he's peeking it from underneath. Nisha going down into the water, but already taken down. And with a minute left, that's not the death they were really after.
No, they were looking to maybe get some of that aggression through water there, but it doesn't work out. GG's just going to go resup. And, I mean, not a lot of time left. Interested to see if SNH remains on that. They're going to have to force something. They're going to have to use somewhere
There's no time,
here.
Surely.
Yeah, I mean, I'm expecting the scout to come through.
Yeah, Scout or Pyro. Oh, I like that even more from SNH. We might be getting some hot water strats from the Czech team, but there's only 25 seconds for this to happen. It's going to happen quick. SNH up with the power jack, running it through the river into the water. It's all been spotted. Everyone has seen the Pyro go underneath. Loopy on the Pyro. We're going to have some Pyro v Pyro Uber. It's like watching a Highlander game here on the point, air blasting each other back and forth. And who is going to come out on top? 7 seconds left. It's all going to have to be about this cap time. GG trading out for calling in the background. SNH goes down on the Pyro. Cap time coming through though. This might get dicey now for the defending players on Nunya. Loads of damage. Breezy's going nuclear on the point. They might just get it. Yellen, last alive, surely falls soon. And that, in about the scrappiest way possible, gets the Czechs their first round on the board. How on earth does that happen?
Man, oh man. I mean, it was just those Pyros, right? Basically
man.
negating the entire Uber. They were all sitting on it, testing as much as they can. I was honestly impressed with the fact that Misha actually managed to get on the point at that moment, because they were about to time out in the overtime. They did not have any time on the last one. So, good, absolute kudos to them. They're going to be able to lock that one out, and that will actually even up the score 1-1. And, well, we're back in for another pretty eventful game here as GG goes aggressive and trades instantly for Lucas.
That seems like the plan here for Nunya on these mid-fights. They just want to not have Lucas doing anything on these mids. And again, Lucas caught out incredibly early, and it might be everyone else getting caught out too, as SNH and Blair try and run out Yellen. Not fancying chasing that one down at 2 HP, but Loopy and Voxtech definitely are, and they are getting all the frags in the lobby. Blair goes down before being able to escape. Really good chase there through for the 2 scouts, and that's the mid-fight that you've been after. Complete wipe, complete confidence, really well taken, and now we've seen them in these situations before. Full add into last is definitely odds on for Nunya to take this.
They're going to be pushing through. Already aggressing into that lobby, ready and waiting as they're going to put their flank scout to good work to get that cap going. Interested to see exactly how they're going to approach this, right? Because, I mean, they've got the Uber out, they're just going to lock out the right-hand side, surely.
Well, last time that was the plan, is they used up on top right and then just ended their Uber on the high ground, just looking above point, and they were able to recollapse instantly on that heavy. This time, same Uber coming through the shutter, gun living for quite a while before going down, and actually a lot of aggro through the point. They're chasing these frags down over onto Lucas in the water, and the recollapse hasn't come in the same way, but it's finally going to be some players hurling themselves onto the point, but the Czechs this time may well be hanging on. It's not looking great for them currently. Lucas so weak on the point. It's all about the DM, all about the shots. Breeze, again, we saw him clutch up last time around, not able to do it this time, as Blair, last one up, is going to drop on the point. 97% on that defensive Uber. It was so damn close for Blair. Nearly managed to squeeze out the Uber. But Nunya less convincing than last time around, but they do push it over the line and get themselves back in the lead.
Yeah, I really thought that, honestly, they were going to start to solidify around Breeze, sitting on the back of that point, did a really great job, but as they jumped up to get that height, just ate way too much damage from the scouts, and then when, well, unfortunately, as he said, no Uber coming. This time, it's going to be a lot of aggression coming through from Nunya, as usual, already putting Yellen onto that one, but they don't get Lucas right away here. In fact, they lose out on one of their players.
Yeah, Breeze all the way underneath. He's getting chased out by Loopy. It's going to be actually a trade out, so really nice work there from the Czechs, and they are the ones this time chasing forward. But Konduk was aware enough. He's going to run all the way out, take the pack in a little bit, and I believe we'll be getting out here safe and sound despite SNH's best efforts pistoling down over towards last. So it's going to be even Ubers, going to be the last point attempt again. Last time around, honestly, I wasn't really that satisfied with what the Czechs were doing in terms of pushing last. They got it in the end via like a Pyro Uber trade on point, followed by Breeze getting a 3k, I believe, in the post Uber. But this time it might be a bit they'll be hoping for something a bit cleaner, maybe an earlier off class, maybe SNH going in and getting GG in lobby, perhaps going to open up some doors. And Loopy maybe caught out as well. So
yeah,
this is getting kind of weird for the
defense. Kill on Breeze.
This is really weird.
It's coming through to second here. It's pressuring. Gives their team the space that they need, and that is really helpful, right? This is even Ubers, so this space can absolutely be reclaimed here.
yeah, there's even a will they can push out here as well, because the player behind us dragged 2 people back. We had a sack attempt into Laxson Corley, who went down, and the push out is in force. But for how long? Uber charge forced out by Condog. It's going to be a much better Uber for the Czechs when it comes out, if it comes out at all, that is. And actually, they just don't want to use it. They're just going to tank it, roll all the way back, and that was not a Uber to be proud of there from Condog. They got absolutely nothing. They actually lost 2 of their own players, and this is going to be the freest gift of a round the Czechs will ever take. Surely full Uber, 2 players up already, trying to get space in this top right. They're going to do a quick 2 players going to be spawning up soon, but Misha going to get a load of cap time. The recollapse comes in. Lucas SNH going to clean that one up on the point, and back to 2-2 after, I don't know, did Condog get forced? I genuinely didn't even see that. That Uber was so confusing to me.
Yeah, it looked a little bit weird. Maybe they were trying to claim some of that space back, but obviously ill-advised if it was on purpose. But, I mean, sometimes it's the way it goes, right? Gully Wash is a map where, obviously, it can get really slow with the demos taking control, but it can also be exceedingly, explosive. Things just happen out of nowhere. There's a lot of those flank routes, and obviously last can be very explosive in and of itself. But we've got another mid where players are looking to be aggressive, and a fade coming through as GG jumps in, but doesn't manage to find anything. Yellow is going to be able to pressure around. Misha is aware, but takes 2 rockets. SNH separated from the team. This is perfect. This is exactly what you want if you're Nunya right now. They can pressure away, kill Lucas, and, well, they can't get into Blair, unfortunately, but everything else went that way.
Honestly, these mids are like, I don't know, it's very much fight or die for these teams on these mids. It's kind of the way with Gully Wash a lot of the time, where it's, I don't know, getting out is not necessarily the easiest thing in the world. If you lose a player, it's you can't just leave because you have people committed way too far in. So we're seeing a lot of players going down in these mid-fights, and we're already seeing an aggressive Uber from Nunya trying to get in onto Blair, who he uses on 7 HP. Oh, that milking that's very, very bold work. It does pay off, does not drop the Uber, is able to walk up into River, but there's dropping a fair few players here on the Czech side. It's just constant mess, honestly, here between these 2 teams, constant fighting back and forth. And the Czechs, are they really thinking about pushing out here? They're down a couple of players, surely they can't go any further than this.
They were definitely eyeing it up, but I completely agree with you. They did not have the space to do so. They back out before the other soldier really comes to support and sensibly get out with that one. Condog does have about 15 Uberad, but I don't know if they're going to use it, / whether it's actually going to be very helpful, because Blair can just kind of peel back into the storm, keep that healing going, and with the Pyro, you kind of buy yourself enough time.
But GG sacked in rather obviously. Yeah. I'm wondering if GG's going to come up on anything. Is it going to be a ban, or is it just a sack, for the sake of it being a sack? And nothing I'm seeing just yet, because there's already a sniper up as well, which you need to be aware of over on Loopy. But I don't know. With these early sacks, there's kind of no risk. There's no gun built up. It's worth going for those pushes in straight away. As Loopy now going to peek up high onto the shot in River, and the gun does its job. And so does Lucas. Actually, wait a second. Everyone just died. What?
Yeah, I know. I was looking at that one. I was focusing on Voxy and Wardo, and I was like, maybe Voxy gets the kill here. And then just Lucas turns up and goes, well, actually, everyone's gone from the map. We're now going to take that second. There is still Uber up for Condog. Does manage to keep it going, but a really nice push coming out. And they're maybe even going to look at this second here. Looks like they want to get aggressive, looking at their position of their players. With SNH down so early, it might be ill-fated.
I like the idea. It was Demo and Scout were denied on the forward spawns. The trade comes in, actually. There might be kind of a couple of frags here. Coley going to jump up and away. Very weak, but the positioning here for the Czechs looks really, really bad. Getting cut off completely in this post-Uber. The rest of the combo maybe gets out some low HP players over on Nunya, but they're able to just get arrowed up by Condog, and they're actually looking to maybe pressure this one in already. No gun yet. Still 2 spawners they're waiting on. Already got Voxy going down underneath. Already got a soldier landing it onto Lucas's face. Already got Loopy running in as well, doing good damage. Voxy at the point's got so much cap time. And nobody was there to block Nunya. The freest round, just standing on the circle. No stickies in sight. Great play from them.
Honestly, really interesting, because I think the reason that happened, right, is czuraci, they popped the Uber in the trade. Blair is looking at it and is like, well, I need to keep as many players alive, because obviously we're going into a last push in a second. But unfortunately, focuses a little bit too much on their soldier, because they don't have the pocket scout. There's no one to keep them alive or in a good position. And Lucas recognizes that, backs off, and their team is completely split as a result. Unfortunately, with SNH going down so early, it was a real problem. Let's see if this time they can have a little bit more of an impact. Trades back and forth. That's going to be a scout for soldier, but Voxy going down. That's both of those scouts off the board. That means the soldier should reign supreme. And Condog does make it out, but they lose everybody else, and that's no one to beam, which would be a problem if it weren't for the fact that Blair already fell.
Colleague chased very aggro there, tried to bomb behind, but Condog was just out and away. Really great mid there from the soldiers from czuraci. We had one of them, I think it was Colleague, who managed to get up in behind into over the drop down and just caught the demo and did so much damage to the back of the combo. Really great work in just wiping up those players. But again, with Blair going down, there is a disad, but like this disad is not that big, because kind of Condog's combo just died that fast that he had no one to beam for like most of the mids, so it's what, a 30% advantage? Breeze up on the spy, perhaps thinking it's more advantage than it is, has managed to sneak through and has managed to spot the rest of the combo. Yillen saw the door opening, surely they're aware of this.
Surely. The Uber does come through right away from Condog. Oh man, that's so brutal. But the push is going to come back through here. They have Uber this time. Breeze does get damaged. They're going to kill Loopy, however. They don't even use the Uber. And as you said, the spy is still behind. So this is a long con, baby. Trying to do a speed play of their own. Unfortunately, Voxy is gone from this world. And still behind. Breeze is still there. He's taking damage from something. I actually don't know what he's taking damage from, but it keeps on taking some kind of explosive damage. And it seems like no one knows where he is.
The menace, the absolute menace, in everyone's heads rent-free. They will still know there is a spy. They should be absolutely aware. Yeah, that's intelligent from Breeze, going back to change off. Because, yeah, the Pyro's up on Voxy. They're so aware of this possibility. But I actually, how did he not die? I swear, like 3 players on Nunya just stared straight at his face and were just like either fooled by the disguise or just didn't fancy it. Especially the soldier who rocket jumped off his face. And
sorry.
But yeah, we'll see now. 3-2 down. Good chance for the Czechs to get back in. We've seen sniper attempts before. This time it's all stock standard in terms of classes, but might be some early aggression in from the shutter. Lucas peeking this very aggro, trying to get some good damage over onto Ratslayer, and maybe the soldiers from River can get some spam on the gun, but it's so hard. The Pyro doing great work until that moment. That's why I shouldn't talk.
That was Caster's curse, man. That was really instigated by Ritual.
You do the rest of the game. I'll stop talking.
It's gonna be Uber for Uber. Breeze jumps right in, gets the force. Wow, lovely jump coming through there with the sentry down as well. That was just the perfect timing for that. Great call to come on through. And you know that czuraci are looking at this right now and going, this is perfect. This is what we needed. The Uber's going to come out. The Uber's up. Once Breeze is there with them, they're just going straight for that push. Lock out that right-hand side. Go for a standard one.
Absolutely great sack in, perfect timing when the gun went down, and now crit streak being built up by Condog. He's known for this. He's had some good results with it in the past, and with 60% already on that crits, there is a world where we might be seeing some laser beams in a few moments' time as they rotate the heavy out. The left-hand spawn, Vox is getting bombed aggressively already. Lots of damage in behind the point, but no frags falling yet for the Nunya side. They're actually getting kind of nothing with this Uber. The Czechs might even have to retreat before the crits is even coming up.
Lucas is behind, wants to try and blow someone up here, doesn't quite get GG, and there are too many players for his liking now. He goes down eventually, and that will be a nice chance to push on out. Honda over on that crit. We'll use it right away here. They really wanted to get these players struggling to hit, but Voxy eventually takes down SNH. They importantly do not kill Blair.
That's the problem with this crits last strat. It is great for these like dying moment, bring up a heavy and kill everything, or crits a soldier and shoot the point or something, but like
what a downside.
If the last goes really well, like this one, and they didn't even need the crits, they're now kind of stuck on crits. So it's still advantage. They're going to get Uber about the same time, roughly, maybe slightly earlier for Blair, but like Condog is on crits, and the Czechs know that Condog has to be on crits, so they can just absolutely start like getting ready to push in on this and taking this Uber v crits trade, and as long as they're careful with who's not flashed in the Uber, they can absolutely do something with this. Misha going to get early kills, and Loopy is massive as well. Voxy Condog in choke. Voxy's taken a ton of damage, finally gets the frag and comes up, but everyone over in Big Door is taking massive damage. Blair gets forced in the middle of nowhere, coming back out from lobby, and this is actually looking terrible for the Czechs.
I honestly can't believe it happened like that. Blair gets dropped as well. Great jump in. The Uber advantage that they had, they just didn't use it, right? We saw them push on in. They lost they took a bunch of damage. They lost a player over at choke, and then they don't commit. They don't do anything. They don't even get out in time. And you see it. 40 HP players running, desperately scared, and it's only natural that Krissy is going to just clean them up like it ain't anybody's business.
And the even bigger thing is that because Blair died, Condog had the opportunity, which he has taken, to pick up Blair's medigun. And now he's on a stock Uber. So this is stock Uber ad coming into last. And it's about 25-30%. It's maybe doable. GG's on point, already killing Lucas. Never mind, they might not even need the Uber. They're just going to barge in anyway. Forget playing this slow, forget playing this stock standard. They are just feeling the bloodlust, and they just want to go in and just do what they can instantly. This game, this is so unpredictable to watch. I'm confused at every turn.
Oh, Foxy does get cleaned up though. This is going to be Uber, but they don't have a lot of time to use it. Condog gets taken down again, losing player after player. No, wait, I didn't even...
Condog died.
Condog died?
Uber. He died with 95% Uber on the way out. That's what I mean. This yeah, this is... GG's going in behind to last on Spy. Breeze is surely going to be aware of this.
He's on the sniper.
GG's going to go for the medic. Oh, the spam. This pistol is out as well. Oh, he doesn't get it.
This is a disaster, frankly. I'm really blown away by what was going on here, because, I thought this was just absolutely everything. Loopy is apparently just finding headshots here, and is now starting to honestly take the remains of this push and turn it into something. This is push necromancy right here. Look at the players. No one's on behind.
No one's aware of this. Oh no, they are aware. They are aware. Okay. All right.
He gets the kill though. He's on point.
Oh, I want to reset and just think for a moment, but no, we're not given time. That's not allowed to happen.
That's gully wash, baby.
GG bombing in already, trying to get this frag to Blair, misses the rockets completely. Nunya now trying to back up from the river. 2 players down. Uber advantage for the defending Czech team. They might want to try and push out with this, just given the time situation. It's the best chance they've had in a while. They're pressing forward towards the shutter, but there's stickies on it. They cannot go any further forward. So they're going to have to play this slow and the long way. And with 3 minutes left, that's in the round reset. There is a minute left. If they mid to last instantly after a round reset, maybe there is time. But for now, they're currently sacking a scout in lobby, going for a rat play. There's also GG on Spy going behind to last. There's Loopy going water as well. Oh, never mind, GG goes and gets the soldier. Loopy's on point already, and everyone's just piling themselves into point.
Yeah, GG does actually get the kill on the Lux. I think that was a face down.
That's a butter knife.
That's fucking peak, man. They get the sap on the sentry. The Uber's gonna come out, and they're just cleaning on up right now. I think they need to get the cap. At some point, you probably want to cap. You want to cap at some point, right? Surely.
They
back out. They didn't get anything. They killed Blair, yeah, but they need to cap this ASAP so that they can get the mid to last.
This is, yeah, they have to be doing something.
Oh, no, they don't. No, they don't, actually. Sorry, I got mixed up with which team is which. No, Nunya don't have to.
Yeah, Krissy, they have to try and do something, but they're down at 50 disard. They're down a player as well. Sat on their own last 2 minutes till round reset. I don't think there's realistically time to get a round in. If this goes to round reset, remember there's like the 10-15 seconds delay before the start of the next round, and then it's going to be mid to last. I don't think that's possible. Like, it's genuinely everyone on paid trains stacking points. Like, that's not going to be allowed to happen by Nunya, right? But Nunya do want to use the ad, and they're going to use it some water this time around. A bit of a different flavour of a push in this time. Over onto the gun already. Players on the point. Lucas under a lot of pressure underneath, but the bomb's coming Coley doing great damage, and so is Lucas. These frags going the way of the Czechs so far on last. GG's gone down, and there's only 2 players left alive. Ubercharge coming up soon from Blair, and actually this is the lifeline that the Czechs have just absolutely needed here. They're gonna have to just try and barge it out. Lucas sees there's no stickies in the shutter and is able to just walk through for free. No chance to deny forward spawns, but like there's definitely a world where a coast to coast can happen here.
Yeah, and frankly, it's their only opportunity. It's their only chance right now. They do get the cap. They're going to heal those players back up. They're going to push right back into mid. Right now, Condog is over at 60%. It's backing out already, I think, very sensibly here. Lucas plays aggressive. The Uber has to be popped here. This is a big slip-up. GG and Breeze are fighting back on second, and Loopy comes through to try and clean this up. Wants to look for a back cap, but there's too much time on mid right now with 3 players sitting atop that one. And with Loopy gone as well, this is exactly the kind of opportunity czuraci need to push on through.
The one problem they have, though, is that Condog has Uber. And Condog was so passive there on second.
Yeah.
He just, like, they got the force, which is what Nunya wanted on mid. They got the force. Okay, they lost a ton of players. They lost 2 points for it. But now it's 50% Uber for Blair. They're going to have to wait a moment if they want to go for a trade. Condog still at 100%. Gun getting built with the Pyro. It's going to be very tough to try and break a hold like this. They've already got the scout underneath. And soldiers bombing it, trying to get something towards this gun, but everyone is just being repelled by the Pyro so far as the timer ticks down. Just over a minute left for the Czechs to get themselves in, and Lucas getting caught in the shutter is not what they were looking for at all.
That is frankly disastrous. They have the Uber, so it's not the end of the world. This is just going to be wait for the time. Make sure you don't lose any other players, because that really is going to be the death bells. If they lose anything more, this is going to be really problematic sticks. Watch out. They almost goes down there, unfortunately, but does stay up. Sentry's still in place. Pyro's still there, ready and willing to crush any push that comes on through right now. But as you said, the time is ticking away, and there's only 30 seconds on the clock. It is absolutely go time right now.
They're just going to have to trade these Ubers out through shutter. Uber used back from Condog, juggling the medic out with the air blast. Really great play from Voxy. And can Blair even get out and live? Bless somehow stays alive for a moment, but is currently on fire in lobby, ticking down. The health lives on 7 HP. The push, the second wave is going to have to come in soon because there's 10 seconds left. And no cap time found yet. There's a heavy to displace too. I think there's not enough time for this. SNH is going to run in though and maybe test me, because SNH has got onto the point, but not got on the point fast enough. Ratslayer getting a ton of frags alongside the heavy of Loopy there on that hold. It got a bit ticey towards the end, but Nunya fight on through and win it 3-2 in one of the weirdest games of TF2 I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, look, if it's going to be weird, it's going to be on Gully Wash. Definitely is the home of some strange performances, but honestly, really great match overall, and one that had an outcome that I really didn't expect. I thought czuraci was absolutely going to take that one coming in. Maybe a little bit biased, right, off of recency from like Lucas, but and you know, I mean, I think Gully is a map that is really great for a lot of demos, but really impressed with the way Nunya pushed through, the way they actually scrapped pretty well, managed to keep their med alive, and they showed some quite heads-up play in making sure Condog was alive, for example, in that last kind of situation we had where Condog just goes, okay, I'm full sending out, right, I'm just completely leaving this one. As long as we have Uber, we know we can hold on.
Yeah, it was a wild one. I do think at the end there was like pushing into last like that on Gully with like a trade. Like there was no real chance to get a Pyro involved. Previously, we saw SNH come up on Pyro in that kind of situation when it was like, okay, time has ticked down to a minute left, we'll send a trade in. But that last time it was actually Lucas that got caught out and that like limited their time massively. That burnt like 30 odd seconds off the clock, just losing Lucas. So I understand they didn't have time to do it really, but yeah, it was still a valiant effort. And honestly, like given how some of these mids went, particularly early on, I think that the Czechs really put a good account for themselves there on this match. Mm-hmm. I think there was a definite plan coming in from Nunya that they had to like neutralize Lucas at every possible opportunity, mm-hmm. particularly on mid fight, but also other times in the game. Like he was getting focused really hard, but it's Lucas. He's still top DPM the server, right? Like it's still like, you know, he withstood it pretty well, but it did pay off for Nunya. I think a fair few moments in their bids were great, and yeah, like Voxy's amazing. The soldiers had some good moments too, but yeah.
I think it actually makes a lot of sense, right? Like, I have nothing but praise for Lucas, especially after his international performances. especially on his DM and the damage output he gets. But one of those issues is in getting that damage, he has to position himself a lot further forward. And I think that very sensibly, Nunya were punishing that quite well, as you kind of said. And I think it's night and day between the performance on this map between them and Ratslayer, right? Where Lucas got all that damage, yes, but Ratslayer died 7 times, right? Literally half the number of times. So it makes a big difference having that uptime, making those pushes more successful, making sure that they kind of kite away a little bit more. Love the fact that we actually saw the pocket scout a lot more defensively, kind of retreating with the medic. Again, you can see that in the scores, right, where Voxy has 12 deaths and SNH has 17. Like, again, that's like night and day.
Yeah, SNH had some good impact moments. I was slightly disappointed by the sniper play. There was one nice headshot on a pyro, but a couple of those moments, especially that time when Misha got underneath the point and got a ton of cap time, and there was so many low HP players, even a couple of random body shots or something on players, anywhere could have just been crucial. Just any frags at that point when it gets messy on Gully Wash last, you can really cause havoc with a sniper peeking in from main, and it just those opportunities, I know SNH, we've seen some crazy things from this man of sniper in the past, right? I think, and we're going on to Granary end of the map where you can sometimes have impact on that class. But I think on the whole, SNH had a great game. I think his scout play in particular, he had some great moments, particularly cleaning up on some of these mids as well. Has had some great fragging moments.
Yeah. No, I think it's certainly been an interesting match and an exciting one as well, right, with that 3-2 scoreline. And I'm interested to see how our next one is going to go. It's going to be, I think, a very different story. And actually, I think it's really interesting, right, because I was saying the difference between those kind of demos, right, where one is playing more defensively, making sure they stay alive, playing a lot more slowly. That's really good and really important on Gully Wash, and that's actually why demo is so effective there. But when you come over to Granary, be a little bit more forward, especially off the back of your soldiers' pressure. And I think that Lucas will have a lot of success here comparatively.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know whenever I think of Lucas, the first thing I think of is watching him push Granary last. It's happened so many times. It's about even back on Skedder as well, back last year in Uberfest.
Looks like there's a new connect, Ben. I don't know if you saw
I've seen Lucas posting in Twitch chat. Came in to hear the glazing and then post the new connect in Twitch chat. Actually, to be fair, because we've got a new connect because the previous connect has crashed my game. So I'm gonna.
Yeah, I thought something was going wrong there.
Yeah. So we can get ourselves in the new connect. But I think Granary, whenever I think of Lucas, I'm thinking them pushing Granary last and the way he I don't know, he just. I've never seen numbers appear so big on my screen. Watching the Lucas Uber into Granary last, it's great. But on this side of things, there's a lot of I don't know. Everyone in this match is a complete boomer, right? These players have minimum been around playing D1/Prem for the past 6-7 years at this point. That's genuinely ever. I don't even think there's that many outliers to that. Maybe SNH. I can't quite remember. I feel he might be a bit more new, but these guys everyone's comfortable on maps like Granary. These used to be played since the dawn of time.
Yeah, I think that comfort will make us have an even more interesting game, right? I think this one will be a lot more free-flowing, back and forth, even more so than we saw in Gully, right? We did have a lot of trading back and forth and kind of pushing out of lasts and back in and, well, absolutely everything, frankly. Yeah. I think this map is going to be 100% like that, just more of the same, which is great, right? We want to see a free-flowing match. We want to see some of these exciting DM fights because there are some absolutely fantastic DM warriors on these teams.
The other thing as well, which I've noticed, is that these soldiers on both these teams had a lot of fun, particularly GG, but also Yulin as well over on the Nunya side. They had a lot of fun on Gully Rush mids. And Granary, the Gully Rush mids, they kind of felt a bit like at the start of the Hunger Games, right? Just everyone just sort of piles in. There's big explosions, people dying everywhere, and then suddenly there's 2 people alive at the end, right? That's how Gully Rush went. And if there's another map where I'm thinking that can really happen, I think it's Granary.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And I think the soldier duo of Yulin and GG, they had a great showing. Their coordination of these mid fights, and Granary, they could absolutely tear apart this check combo if it goes right for them.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the big problems you have to worry about right now, if you're czuraci. It is frankly terrifying having to deal with those two players because, as you said, they went really well on the previous map. They're very experienced. They're going to know this map like the back of their hand. And I'm not going to say it's like a particularly complicated map in terms of, architecture, but they know what they're going for. And I think it's going to be very difficult to escape them because this map has always been very difficult for a medic to get out, as you kind of highlighted. So I would not be surprised to see just kill after kill after kill and really the soldiers dictating the pace of the map. And I think for that reason, I think Nunya might even take this whole series 2-0.
Yeah, I was impressed with. I think the last map was kind of a fair result. A couple of rounds that the czuraci got were like kind of in weird circumstances. There was the one, okay, they had a really nice skip jump through with force into Condo for one of them, but the other round with like the pyro play under point, it felt a bit gimmicky. And also Nunya had like a ton more chances. They could have got more rounds on the board, and on the balance of play, I think. Yeah, 3-2 was maybe a bit close. I think Nunya were maybe a bit better than that, but they're happy. They're getting their 3 points, and I think on Granary, if we're doing predictions, I'd be going predictions towards Nunya, but I guess Twitch chat, they can decide. There's plenty of channel points flying around all over the place over on the predictions, so to throw your points in, do some gambling. Gambling with fake points is good. I will not make a comment about gambling with real money.
Well, we're not sponsored enough to say anything like that, I know, absolutely. I mean, look, I'm 100% on the Nunya hype train here right now, but I certainly wouldn't count the Czechs out in any way, shape, or form. I think they are very strong, and I think it's going to be interesting to see as well if we see any of the sort of funky off-class we saw on Gully. I think it's unlikely, but on that last, we're probably going to see some more of that sniper, and I'm absolutely here for that, and I want to see a redemption for SNH here, frankly.
Oh, absolutely. And honestly, like, I wouldn't say we want a redemption for GG Spy, but we kind of did. Like, the second attempt at the Spy worked a lot better. Getting the
butter knife.
Oh, there was the butter knife onto Lucas, and there was also a stab onto a soldier as well. And the Spy plays that game like, I don't know, the Breeze one, man, like that Spy play from Breeze is going to live rent-free in my head for a long time. Just like getting rocket jumped off, but like nobody was aware of it, and then somehow waddling around and just living forever, and then suddenly the Czechs have just won the fight completely. It's great stuff. We have 12 in server. Maybe they're going to press F4 soon. Maybe I don't know who is being late, but we can dream of a start soon, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, look. It's pretty classic ETF2L fashion to be completely delayed on all of these matches. It's how it be, But we will get started as quickly as we possibly can. As I said, there are 12 in the server. They are just playing around right now. Hopefully, they lock in. That's just what I'm hoping.
Yeah, they have to lock in, right? It's the obvious of the season, right? They'll get themselves going eventually. It's But no, they can't obviously see on stream in a minute, but like there's been some good banter all through last game, to be fair, and also into pre-game on this one. Like there seems to be a big rivalry between Lucas and Condog. Between the chat, they're constantly spamming each other, like they're trying to like out-ego each other. It's kind of great to watch. Every time like someone like misses, like, I know Condog will do a surf and live, he'll like post something like some bind, and yeah, we just had some binds back the other way now from Lucas. So there's maybe a bit of a personal rivalry here as well. Not just between the two teams, between those two players in particular, but we're going to find out soon which of those players and which of the teams is going to come out on top, because the players have found the F4 buttons on their keyboards finally, and they are ready for map number 2 of this week 1 official. We've got czuraci over on the blue, and we have Nunya over on the red. Here we are on Gully Wash mid. Take us away.
Yeah, it's going to be Lucas first turning up to mid, making sure they get that height for their team as Ratslayer down on the floor, taking a lot of damage. It goes down! That's huge from Lucas, and that absolutely sets the pace of this one as GG goes into the backline, takes down Blair, but does fall. Let's see if Condor can survive here. They are hightailing out of there. You can see the Rockets do try and go on in, but they do make it out.
I mentioned before how important this soldier duo could be, and GG and Yell and the double bomb landing behind that blue crate, doing massive damage. Catching Blair and catching Lucas. Great work from the two of them there. And yeah, I never know what to say if they've won the mid or if they've lost the mid in these scenarios, because yeah, the Czechs have capped the point, but at what cost? They're full Desad. It's a late spawner on Yellen, yes, but like, yeah, they're going to be getting an ad used into them here. Valley control has been sustained by the Nunya team, and they are already looking to walk this one in from the choke.
Yeah. Ratslayer this time, supporting their team, pushing players back, getting the space for their squad. Back through the choke.
They're
going to back out. They don't lose any players, but a lot of pressure going. And there's about 40% ad right now for Nunya. And I think that's absolutely what they're banking on to get this pressure going.
Yeah, they can at least take yard. Maybe not take the second point, but they can get themselves a foothold here in towards these shutters, and that's absolutely what they've done. It's been completely respected by the check. Lucas taking a lot of damage, getting arrowed back up here over towards the shutter, and Ubercharge is now stabilised. And yeah, the advantage is lost from Nunya, but they've caught, what, a point and a half here. They've capped mid, and they've also got themselves a foothold in yard, which is, I'd say it's half the battle. I'd argue it's more than half the battle, because I think pushing yards with even Ubers is one of the hardest points to push in this entire game. And now at least this time they can go for something over towards the lunchbox area. That's GG's point of contact so far, who's taking a ton of damage. 3 players coming over to help out, but that's just dragging bodies away from the choke. And Ratslayer catching a lot of flack here from SNH, and never mind, because Condog, Voxy, Ratslayer all going down in quick succession. It's synchronized deaths all around for the Nunya team, and I'm sure there's going to be binds popping out in the chat there, because that was a drop from the red Nunya medic of Condog.
Yeah, real disaster there, honestly, for Condog, because trying to keep their team up, unfortunately, Ratslayer completely pinned against the wall by the enemy scout, and just could not get anything going there, man. It's going to be the stack onto the mid. Condog had already taken a lot of damage as well there, and then just completely gets blown away. There's too much, man, too much damage, and, I mean, look, I'm not testing Lucas, like, that's all I'm saying.
GG on Sniper on second in the lunchbox has had to surf away, taking a lot of damage there. I mean, obviously Sniper in forward spawn on second, out of the shutter of the lunchbox. I really like that, but not going to land any important shots this time around, as it's still big advantage sitting at around 30%. Oh. They can go into last here if they really want, and especially with the demo pick as well. There is definitely a chance here, should the Czechs want to push the issue here. 20% ad Condog is going to have so damn soon. Lucas is in already, taking a shed load of damage on this right-hand side. There's not going to be the instant force out from Condog, but they're losing players left and right here on red. They're going to have to finally use, and now the retreat is on for Blair and the rest of the Czech squad. Are they going to try and get out, or are they going to try and fight this with their post? But they are going to come back in on SNH.
Yeah.
For it.
Condog is just taken down. They're just cleaning on up. They haven't managed to find quite as many frags as they would have liked. Blair does fall, and Vox is cleaning up. That is huge to see, and SNH is running forward for a chance, but not managing to find anything. Gets air shot by GG there, and Nunya managed to hold what was looking pretty disastrous, and Lucas jumps in, trying to contest, goes down, and, well, Voxy holds strong for their team right now.
Oh my. And the worst bit is as well, Voxy was like 3 HP beforehand. If one stray pellet of SNH's scats are going to graze Voxy, maybe there was a chance that Voxy was dead and not able to refight that. But Lucas keeps them honest, prevents any chance of like an ad push out here. It's going to be gun on last, it's going to be Sniper up, and the Sniper already ringing out a headshot over onto Misha. It's really now that like there's a lot of pressure taken off the defense. They can get their gun move forward, they can get the Uber built up, but that was so dicey on last there for the Nunya team. I honestly thought when the force came out, I actually thought they were going to try and back up and just take their ad and just re-push in and just get their spawners back. But I respect the idea to just use it instantly while there's still fresh spawners on the Nunya team. But like, you know, great work from Nunya. They tanked you well and just had enough. Great air shot at the end from GG as well. But now, Uber charges have stabilised, and the game may begin to slow down for a moment. Sniper is up on both of these teams. Misha versus Loopy. Gun on the close position. Going to be making it really tough to get a bomb in. And Condog's spot, like, how are you getting anything onto him in there?
Yeah, they're completely aware this Sniper exists now after that shot. And playing the med in a very sensible position right now. As you say, the game starts to slow. Looking for a chance here. Ratslayer way too aggressive. Gets taken down, and that is the chink in the armor potentially here for czuraci to push on in, but they lose SNH as the aggression happens, but with Loopy down, this is the kind of opportunity he needs. Sticks go in, Sentry is out. This is huge.
Misha can peek in, there's potentially a chance to get a force out. Condog has gone all the way around towards the shutter just to try and hide away from these players. Just GG there, doing all the work he can to try and prevent Condog from getting shot. Calling in a bomb in, do good damage. One rocket lands onto Condog, but the level 1 gun's getting rebuilt, and it's going to have to retreat from everyone except GG, who lands in with big damage into lobby. The fight's back and forth. Ratslayer's in trouble as well. What is going on? It's constant brawl. It's a last hold. These are supposed to be boring. These aren't supposed to be players flying left and right. Loopy going to be the last one up on 40 HP here. There's a level 1 gun 2. 3v2 for a moment. Voxy going to come in back on the engineer. Surely the Czechs can't stay in for much longer unless they're able to get some kind of force. What on earth is going on? The aggression is beautiful to see. Force comes out. Is Blair going to escape? I don't think so. He's going to have to force as well. And now the fight continues.
Yeah, I mean, Lucas has just turned up, so to me, that sounds like a great time to fight. So, looking for a chance to step onto the point, but pressure comes in. Loopy comes from the side, doesn't find anything. It's just cleaned up by the Czechs right here. No balances for them as they sweep over the last point in pretty strong order after what was a bit of a scuffle, if you ask me.
Okay, I've not been casting TF2 for that long, right? It's been a couple of years, right? That might be the longest last push I think I've ever seen. I genuinely do not think I've seen a last. That was like over a full minute. I want to say push, there was like the entire time there was like pressure coming in, people getting healed up, attempts at forces. Conduct honestly held on to that Uber like nobody's been. I don't know how he held on for so long, man. He held on for like a full 30 seconds of losing players and damage flying around everywhere, somehow lived, but eventually the Czechs come in and clean it up and get around on the board, but they've got soldiers to contend with already because GG on this mid with Yellen bombing in incredibly aggro.
Yeah, looking for a chance here, but they lose 2 players right away. With Breeze gone, some of that bite is away. SNH getting split off from their team, but the healing is there, and that's great for a chance to push on out. Padeo makes the space for their team as Misha comes through and they take down Kondov. This is exactly what you want to see if you're a Czech fan right now.
Yeah, we had a few checks in the Twitch chat between those games. They are very, very happy about this one. Med going down very, very late from Condor, the last player to fall. The double soldiers came in, they did a lot of damage, but not much in the way of frags. As the Czechs able to sneak their way in onto second. But speaking of sneaking, GG has got all the way in behind and has been spotted by Breeze. So surely this soldier gets nothing in onto second. Blair took a rocket, but is able to sneak out alive. Condor on the crits, but that's not up for a little bit of time. There is chance to push in straight away.
Yeah, they've got to go for it quick, though. Blair is waiting for some of that health as they're just going to pop that Uber straight away. They want to cut away that sentry, deal with the players on height, and deal with the sticks as well. SNH goes walkabout, gets aggressive, takes down Ratslayer, all-important player gone right now. As those crits are going to be coming out, they're going to deal a lot of damage. They turn towards the majority of this combo, but they lost a lot. They lost way too much here. This crit is going to expire, and that's the sign to push back on in. Sit on point as much as you want, spam away. The Med tries to get aggressive, and Misha eventually deals with him. It doesn't play much more. Blair does survive, however. And he's going to try and run out. Loopy's getting aggressive, wants to deal with it. Blair's just absolutely man-fighting him right now. As the rockets come on through, Blair is low, and eventually goes down at the very bitter end here.
There's still players trying to get in on the second there. SNH is fighting GG and Lunchbox. There's Lucas trying to push in from shutter. He's going to have to back up, and medics respawning in at roughly the same time. And I don't know, it's one of those things, that they're like, I don't know if it's a conspiracy, but they're saying that nothing happens. Just all this goes on, and we're back to just even Ubers, start going to be in a stalemate in yard. I'm guessing in a moment, unless something crazy happens. It's dead even on Uber's yard, controlled by Nunya, and looks like the Czechs just gonna have to chill for a moment. Gonna have to just sit on mid, get their players healthy. Not the worst thing in the world, I guess, if you're a Czech fan / player, right? You just a round up, 20 minutes left. You can sit in these stalemates, so there's kind of no risk, right? Pushing out from mid into yard is hard, and pushing from yard into mid is probably even harder. So it's not like a massive risky position.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're going to settle into this position, look for a chance to get that pressure going, maybe get some spam. I mean, we've seen a lot of players overstay their welcome. In particular, Ratslayer has been dying a lot on this map. I was praising them over on Gully Wash for being so sensible and actually really passive and not losing their life. But so far, it's been a real problem. Bomb comes in, tries to make it happen, but Breeze, unfortunately, doesn't get wind of anything.
Yeah, good attempt on the sack, but, there's so many bodies in the way. The rockets hit people, but they don't hit the priority targets. They hit 300 health soldiers, and GG gonna have an attempt in the reverse. bombing in through, and that's the problem with getting into either granary mid or granary yard, is that the sacks are so telegraphed. There's so few of them you can do, and the doorways you're coming to are so narrow.
Yeah.
Like it's just so it's so predictable every single time, and you know these players are good enough. They know what's coming most of the time, and unless you hit something absolutely crazy, it's very, very tough for a single soldier on either direction to get anything done.
Jump through here, puts pressure on, gets some damage, but doesn't kill anybody other than that scout. Condog is low, a lot of players fall here. Ratslayer goes down, as I was highlighting before. And I love the fact that Blair looks at this and goes, okay, back up, make sure we don't lose anything, and then start to redouble their efforts to pushing forward. Aggressive position here, Condog wants to use right away. Blair is milking as much as they can, and they're going to look for a chance to push on in Player's court as the blocking comes on through. They are desperately trying to stop them as the stick tries to catch them as they exit the door. Condog tries to make it out, but the rockets and the pipes are just too much. Blair, however, overstays their welcome and goes down here. It's going to be the second cap most likely here. I imagine Lucas has taken a lot of damage, but still looks like it is. But they lost their med as well, so they don't have that advantage. And with Lucas going down, they might have to back out here. Misha's gone, and it's nothing.
SNH, he didn't realise it didn't SNH, but the cap on last was complete. Oh, they hadn't capped second. Okay, he ran for it. I thought there was a world he could have got last there. I didn't realise the second hadn't come up. But even still, gets the kill behind onto a soldier, buying a lot of time for his team. And again, I don't know, these fights, it just... Everyone, there's like... These fights just get so scrappy. Everyone is just like constantly like doing the thing which just maximizes the amount of kills / DPM they can get, right? And they're obviously playing off each other to do so. And honestly, it makes for great viewing, right? And it's not necessarily bad. It's just like these teams, they play with no fear at all. And these fights, like constantly, they're just looking for the way to go forward, the way to fight, the way to take space, the way to take initiative. And in the end, again, nothing happens. So we're back to the same stalemate we were in like 3 minutes ago, right? But like, we're getting these moments of excitement. Again, predicated on Ratslayer getting caught this time, but we'll see again. Maybe it's gonna be Breeze getting caught this time.
Loopy's up close and personal, looking for a chance. Potato jumps in, but fades away as GG is trying to get some damage down. They don't quite kill them. A lot of damage traded back and forth as Breeze is going to have to get that pack as well, as the aggression from czuraci is not going to lead to anything just yet.
1 minute left before we go to a round reset. And that's not the start to a sack that they were after. The sticky trap taking down the soldier. 45 seconds now, and the soldier still got a 7-second respawn. And honestly, Nunya, they're not sending a counter sack, and I kind of understand why. There's kind of no need at this point. They may as well just hang on for this remaining few seconds and just wait for the round reset to come in. No need to risk too much from their end. But from the Czechs, like, they also don't want to risk too hard. They don't want to risk, like, you know, losing 2 players and getting pushed back into mid, but they want to go for something. They want to try and make it worth holding this midpoint, as they're getting good spamming onto Ratslayer and Condog, but like not enough to really get through and get a sack going. 14 seconds left. Uber charge used out from Condog, trying to save some players. Better Uber for the blue. And now the Czechs have taken all of Yard. They might be getting into second 2. SNH, the Uber charge gets Ratslayer late in the Uber. They might be capping.
They're going to get time on the point as well. That's exactly what they need. They do lose Lucas Stank here, which is pretty poignant, but they will keep a couple of those players alive. Look for a chance. Potato wants to get that frag, but there's too much health. And look at that player brawling on the point yet again. It doesn't quite happen, and it is going to be that reset coming through. They almost made that happen, but the Uber kind of expired. They didn't have a couple of those players in the right place as that ended, because they were just scrambling to get on point.
Really good effort, honestly, with that. Like, the fact that like they had such a better Uber and caught the retreating Ratslayer as well. It's just the problem is it's so claustrophobic on that point, and when the Uber's fading and everyone is just stood in one tiny doorway, there's like rollers from the demo are still out on the floor, there's soldiers splashing everything. It's just, it's so tough to like keep your players alive in the situation on the point, and eventually Nunya managed to get the round reset they were after, and with half the game left to play, they are only a round down, so they can still get back in. And these mid-fights have looked pretty damn decent. All these bombs in from GG, massive damage onto Lucas and onto Blair, but Yellen was a lot slower to bomb in, gonna bomb in late, try and get in onto Lucas, but he's also just gonna land on low ground and die. And now...
Loopy?
Loop. Oh, they're aware.
Oh, they're paying attention. Okay. Okay. I thought Loopy might find that there. I really did have that feeling. An interesting mid approach actually coming out from Nunya. They were desperately trying to keep their med in like as defensive a position as possible for as long as possible. The problem is then you can't really move forward. Loopy is going to go down eventually here. You can't really move forward and contest some of the major parts of this mid. So you are really relying on that sack working. And unfortunately for Nunya, I think very sensibly the Czechs looked at it and went, okay, well, we'll just play defensive in these more aggressive positions. Just hold it on out. The trade is going to come on through. They are contesting for every inch that they can go for. Lucas is so low, will fall. And that is a disaster right now as Voxy is going to town.
The Voxy Uber is beautiful. I haven't seen many Ubers like that since back at Uberfest. Great stuff. Fight it out on right side. I was wondering if they could even stay in there, but with the Uber trade, it works out to perfection. Now Yellen going to bomb in and get in on the retreating Medic and Blair too. Oh, it's fabulous. The turnover grade. This is the thing when you've got players with this much experience and this much tenure on a team. Like, eventually moments like that do just happen. You have Voxy just runs in and kills 3 people in an Uber. And on the retreat, Yellen bombs in and catches a really nice frag onto a retreating Medic. And now the tables have turned entirely. Micho sniping forward spawn. Condog is not going to be peeking to that one too keenly as he gets onto the second point with a sticky shot there, ready to greet him. Lucas. He was feeling good this game, not twice. They managed to catch out drops onto Condog.
I mean, man, look, Lucas is just so strong, setting up their team for, frankly, a chance to push back into second and actually contest it, because that last was looking real dire for them at such a major disad. There's going to be a player who pushes through, but Loopy does go down. Actually gets sniped by Blair there. And this is real good right now for the Czech side. Aggression coming through from Voxy, but it doesn't quite lead to anything. Lucas needs a little bit of healing to keep them going right now, but they will do just fine. He's doing knocked back second, but Yard is still held by Nunya.
Held might be a strong word. They're interested in being in Yard. They've not got too much pressure towards the Shutter and not much towards the Z connector or lunchbox, so players have managed to get out of the second point. Big air shot there, landing in onto Gorlig. I believe that was a nice net from Yellen. As the rest of the Nunya team, they're going to have to back out despite the efforts of the soldier. SNH, they're still wanting blood, very low on HP, gets an arrow, as now bombs landed onto Blair. Blair might be getting air shot, and it popped into the sky, and Blair, last millisecond pop there. The air shot did hit, but it hit whilst Blair was already shiny.
Yeah, unfortunate to see, and this is the Czechs just looking for a chance to run through here, but they instead get the Uber. They are completely surrounded on a couple of these players. They will go down, so does Lucas Stank, but at least trades out. Breeze is real aggressive here and does get the med, and probably will clear up a couple of these other players. Sorry, not the med, the demo, but Condog, importantly, survives here. And so does Yellen. I can't believe that Blair actually managed to walk out of that as well.
Wild. Honestly wild. As soon as Blair gets forced on second, like instantly on mid, the force comes back out, and then literally half, 3 players of the Czech team were behind the Nunya combo, and like the recollapse, it was never going to be pretty for either of those teams in that situation. There's low HPs all around, and eventually we get into a situation where the Czechs here, currently sat in their own second, going to be roughly even on Ubers because there was no one to build with Condog after that fight, and actually no one with Blair either. So it's one of those awkward situations as a medic. You kind of don't know the situation because you're unaware of how long it took them to get their Ubers up. But this time around, it's going to be a bit slower. Last time we saw Nunya try and just walk it in straight away and get caught out by one of Lucas's typical devious traps that he has into his granary second. A lot of props you can hide those in, but this time around, it's all about the pressure from Shutter so far with Ratslayer and Voxy.
GG and Loopy are looking for a chance to push in as well off the back of that. They will start to take control of that height. However, look who's waiting. Misha cleans on up, but a lot of damage right now. Doesn't mean that flank could be weak if there was a push, but unfortunately there's no bite there, no nothing right now for Nunya as they walk back out, just making sure they don't lose anything as the Uber comes through here. They're milking as much as they can, and the trade comes through as Condog sets their players forward. Voxy cleans up Lucas, charges forward, but decides that it's better to focus on the point and focus what will let them win. Loopy goes over to the spy in all of this chaos, and they will be moving forward, but there it is, Breeze! Gets caught out! I really thought they were going to get that so much damage. But nothing, unfortunately. Loopy doesn't even get to show off the spy. That's kind of sad. but it is a 1-1 scoreline, and we are back in business, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely are. I actually thought for a moment I thought Breeze was going to salvage that, genuinely. Like, I saw him come up behind from Z, no one was looking, and it did a good amount of damage, but the last rocket just didn't quite hit anyone he was after. Yeah, the spy. It was a nice little touch on the end, but not required for Nunya. And these post fights, man, Condog held onto that Uber for really long amount of time, and Voxy again just cleaning house with these Ubers. Absolutely beautiful to watch. Now mid-fires, we've seen mixed results from these bombs from these soldiers over on the red Nunya side, as this time they're going to bomb over towards the catwalk. Both these players, Yellow going to land on very low HP, and actually a lot of low HP players over on red, as they're getting kind of mulched here on the low ground behind the point. GG still going to be able to bomb in from Breeze. Oh, one rocket, second rocket does not quite land. Condog 7 HP, escaping out through the shutter. One more pistol shot from that spam and he would be a dead man, but currently still living life well, and I don't know, I'd be feeling pretty chilly if I had a Roxy stood there defending me.
It's going to be Uber on both sides now, as mid-control still very much in favour of the Czechs. Oxy's up real far forward, looking to catch them potentially as they move on in. Could get someone here. Lucas, I don't think he saw him.
Surely
I think they're not aware.
Surely nobody expects this, right? Like,
why
would a scout be there? Like
SNH? No! Oh my god, SNH, he's got to be dead, right? Voxy doesn't shoot, he's so patient here. Well, but they notice Lucas sees him. The shots come through, and Lucas is saved in the nick of time. Shout out to Blair for absolute magic there. The project must have been named after them, as now they're looking for a chance to push on forward. Down a scout, those soldiers should be much more free to reign supreme.
Oh, the trigger discipline as well, it was so perfect from Voxy. But it just didn't quite work out his way in the end. Great effort on that play. I don't know, like waiting so long to shoot SNH, he runs back out as well. Beautiful stuff, but Misha's maybe the rat scout that we should be looking out for, because he has managed to walk in through choke for free and get straight in onto Rat Slayer, and now is where the floodgates open and everyone just starts dying from my previous experience. So I'm expecting Uber Trace, never mind Uber Trace, because Lucas dropped number 3 of the map. This time it's a straight pipe all the way across over onto Condog's face. Once more dropping the Uber here on Granary. Lucas really has his number, I've got to say, right? Maybe kind of watch the VOD, but I can't be too happy with me saying that, because there is clearly some kind of rivalry going on, but that's 3 drops from one player onto one medic in one map.
Yeah, maybe Condog trying to cash checks as Mouse can't do, unfortunately, here. It is going to be 2-1 for said checks, and honestly, I mean, with 6.5 minutes on the board, I mean, either this is going to be a roll to even things up, or we're just, looking at this is going to be the final scoreline. I think that really czuraci are going to try and just slow things down here, because frankly, when things have been slower, it's really been in their favour. And I'm interested to see if Nunya are going to change up their mid, because so far they've really been struggling on this mid. They've been trying to commit just soldiers in, see what happens, but they've not been taking the space, and I think it's been really problematic for them.
Yeah, Lucas taking a ton of early damage, actually. He's going to have to back up and get an arrow, as the soldiers not going as aggressive this time from Nunya. It might be well advised, given, like you said, about the previous attempts. Dylan going to get in behind into Garage, very weak in terms of HP, going to have to back up for the pack, so can't instantly get in. Oh, SNH going to do massive damage. Breeze in as well. The collapse might be coming forward now for the Czechs, and Rat Slayer already. Oh, Condog as well, very weak. Coley going to bomb in towards this choke. Yell and Loopy trying to fight on, but there's players in behind as well. Blair is just alone this whole time. Still, they're wondering, I bet if I was yelling at Loopy here, I'd be like, where the hell's the med gone? Like, Med is just chilling in Garage by himself. Yellen surely has to retreat, might not be allowed to do so either, just Loopy. And has been spotted. Not got a long shelf life on that one. There's another good win for the Czechs on these mids.
Yeah, does get bruised, but yeah, I mean, another brilliant win for the Czechs, and I think that Nunya is really struggling with those mids in a way they just can't kind of deal with. They tried to go for something default here, but the problem is they're not providing enough threat to deal or at least take out some way Lucas Tank in these scenarios. And when you let him just unload damage time after time, eventually it gives openings for players like SNH to just go, okay, well, I'm just going to kill your demo. And then it's just gone from there, right? It all falls apart.
Condog already has crits, by the way. He's like 95%. That just happened, like just in the background.
It's a big loss. You can absolutely make good usage of that.
Oh no, the laser beams are terrifying. Absolutely.
The boat's coming out. It is going to go pressure lock off that right-hand side, but it is going to be Loopy coming out with the crits, with the laser beams. They cut through a couple of these players, and off the back of some support from the rest of their team, it's going to be Blair gone. That's a chance to push out here for Nunya.
Absolutely, laser beams coming up great, and that's the thing is, these behind players, like people living up. Yeah, sure, this gets checked though. Surely they're aware. They have to be aware. Yellen, yeah, instantly deleted. But that's the thing is, like, these players behind on mid, like, it bought that much time. Like Condog in a normal situation would not have crits in that position.
Yeah.
He'll be on crits, but he'll be on like 50% by the time the push comes in. To have 100%, you can pop it instantly on the fade. Is really great to see from Condog's side, just because of how long they had, and now it's going to be an attempt to sort of pressure in onto mid. Bit of an advantage, but like nothing that crazy. They're pushing basically on 20 ad here if they want to go for this, and with 3 minutes left, I think they kind of do want to go on the 20 ad. Misha going to be very late to go though. Spawn Shutter on the sniper, trying to peek through, maybe going to get the shot over onto Condog, but Condog has run away the whole way. They've completely passed each other as the Uber now getting used out onto the second point. Players being bullied all the way back, and it's actually Blair who's going to have to run away, tail between his legs onto the last point. Misha going to come in, and Misha is maybe going to give them a lifeline into this. SNH spawns in 4 seconds, so does Lucas. They can hang on to last because Condog is down. And there's 2 minutes 50 of game left to be played, but they might be looking to get this push. Nunya trying to hurl everyone in onto the point. They get a fall, which is something.
I thought they were going to see that to GG there. That was almost disastrous.
Look at the time! Look at the time on the point.
They're going to be able to cap away on that second, at least for now. You can see Irlanda's looking for a chance for the backup of their team to contest that one. They can't go for the cap quite as easily as they would like, as that pressure is coming through, but nobody dies, nobody goes down. There's no gaps right now in their pressure, so they will take that second and save themselves from what was a pretty threatening position on that last.
Yeah, honestly, the biggest part about that is even if this reflips, it means that all that cap time on last is completely gone, because like half capped last on Granary is absolutely terrifying. It's nowhere near anything that cap point. It's so hard to hang on to. Now, Uber charges roughly even, but Breeze has already gone down on that previous point, so now there's potential to just walk this one in. Uber used out instantly. Uber from Blair comes up in counter. It was a tiny bit of ad later use here from Blair, but now it's about this refight. Calling and SNH both gone down. Breeze launches to the skybox. There's potential to refight. There's potential to land in onto these players. Cap time coming through, and cap time comes in good, because we might be going to golden cap.
Man, oh man, impressive performance from Nunya here. At the bottom of the night, things were looking real problematic for them, right? But they managed to hold it out. They managed to actually take things back after what was not the greatest of mids, and just kind of rock and roll from there. I mean, I'm interested to see whether they're going to be able to hold things down and play a little bit more passive here. But again, these mids have looked really iffy for them. They might only be kind of bailed out by the fact that it actually takes quite a long time to move between the different parts of this map, and I don't think there's enough time to realistically push on in and push on through here. Right, Slayer trying to get some damage down early as Lucas is on the low ground, as well as SNH trying to keep their team alive, cutting away Yulland. Some good damage, and Lucas does survive. The stick was ready and waiting. Lukey is cut away, but with 40 seconds on the clock, there's not a lot to work with. If they can get the med here, Condog is gone. Everyone is gone. A bar Boxy here, who does go down, but as you said, takes down Blair, all importantly here.
That actually is huge. Imagine if Blair lives. There's maybe time to have done this if Blair had lived.
Yeah.
Blair has not lived though, so they are now like in the position where they're spawn camping. They're trying to spawn camp last, which is kind of the only thing you can do in this position. But like with 30 seconds or 15 seconds left at this point, like second point still going up, there is surely no time to get this cap coming through. There's going to be bodies in the point. It's just literally all about that one scattergun shot from Voxy. It's kept this.
What a performance from them. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. They were trying to contest, but I mean, given even 15 seconds more even, they might have taken it. They were doing pretty solidly in that fight overall, but that is disaster for the Czechs, right? And I mean, what a player to do it, right? Voxy, obviously, as you mentioned before, very tenured, and a player who I've got a lot of respect for. So consistent and clutch in those all-important moments.
Yeah, I had many great moments throughout the map, honestly. And yeah, I think we can I'm not sure how long it's going to take them to get into the next into this golden cap, and they have to share the config and stuff. So maybe we have time for some logs. I believe we might have some logs ready to go. But I'll be interested to see. I think Voxy went kind of huge, and also like I don't know, Lucas. You know, the 3 drops in one map is never something you can really look too far away from.
No, it was a really impressive performance. And I mean, again, kind of what we would come to expect from Lucas, right? Didn't have the best performance over on Gully Wash in terms of success for their team. Obviously, still put out a hell of a lot of DPM. And I will say, no matter what is happening, Lucas will put out good DPM. And I would not be shocked to see that absolutely topping the charts here. So
he didn't. He was 2 DPM off. He was beaten out by SNH. SNH did 350 DPM, 351, and Lucas did 349.
That's actually, honestly... look, SNH was doing a decent job, but I didn't think he was kind of a centerpiece of the team, but was obviously putting out a lot more than I was expecting. Really solid performance then, and especially on this map as Scout, it can sometimes be difficult to really push the damage that you want, because there's a lot of chokes, you know, you're kind of standing around a lot, it can be a bit awkward, but managed to do a lot of work. Yeah,
really great work from a message. And I imagine Voxy was like going to be the top. He's top on frags with 32.
Yeah.
But like what for me, like with Voxy, I like with Scouts in particular, I like... The scout numbers are normally pretty big, right? Especially pocket scouts. But like, the thing that impresses me with Voxy more, it's not just like raw amount of damage / kills. It's just the impact. There's so many moments where he's digging his team out of fights and keeping them in this. And he might have to do a bit more of that because I believe the F4 buttons have been found and Golden Cap is ready to go. And for any Americans watching this, or any North Americans, should I say, over from Fireside, this is a Golden Cap. There's 15 minutes to see who wins this. Next point wins. If no winner after 15 minutes, we go to a golden mid fight, which is a joy to watch. So honestly, I kind of hope we go there, just so the Americans get to see this one happen. But we've got to have 15 minutes of no rounds first, and as it's gone so far, I don't think we'll get that far because these mids have been looking very good for the Czech team. We've already got Connie going all the way in deep behind, and a crit streak coming up from Condog. I mean, showing that right. That's real, isn't it?
Bro knows what he wants. He absolutely knows what he wants, and trying to make sure that their team can get something aggressive is great here. Uber will come on out though from Blair to try and counteract, and they actually find no kills. They were way too slow at generating that Uber, and that looked disastrous, right? I was keeping an eye on the numbers, and the fact that Condog got like Uber like a second before Blair is honestly testament to how good Blair was doing in that team fight, and just keeping their team alive with that, completely shutting down that push. And now that kind of gambit, right, for Condog and crew is looking like a complete failure.
They all got denied forward spawns apart from the one sniper on Voxy. Voxy could hit the hero shot of a lifetime, hits one onto the scout. Maybe potential for one more, toying with the shutter, thinking about opening it. There's a soldier literally pressing his face into it, but there's going to be a 150 damage shot charged up for this peak. He's going to think about opening the shutter, maybe going to go for it, but a pause has come to do. This is a great moment for a pause, guys. Like, this sniper like staring straight into it. Wait, have they closed the server? They've killed the server.
Oh my god,
way.
For real? Gosh, darn it.
Oh, what? Right, we'll see in minor warnings.
Yeah.
I guess we go on logs. I guess we go on logs and find out.
Logs.
Yeah, the czuraci have won based on the logs. That is the most disappointing end to a map I've ever seen. You should go on the ETF2L Discord, make an admin ticket, tell Stu, like say on the ticket, I want to speak with Stu, and he'll sort them out. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that like they just took the ad and pushed last. That's like
I'm gonna check
the times on this, right? Like it was a 2-minute round, okay? Like
they have about 15-minute ad. So 15% ad. Yeah.
No, it's more than because they had 100% when they pushed.
No, I mean when the game ended, they had 15% ad.
Oh, okay, yeah.
When the game ended on my screen, it was still up for me, so it was 15% actually. It wasn't as much as it looked like.
Okay. Yeah, we can just assume that they kind of barged in and killed everything, right? Like.
Yeah.
Ah, man, that
sucks.
It was on the match page as well. We told them that it was getting casted, so that's their fault, I guess.
Yep.
But yeah, congrats to the Czechs. Congrats to their winning Golden Cap. Like honestly, like I think they're probably a bit annoyed that they didn't get the full 3 points for that map for winning
Yes.
it in regulation.
Yeah.
But okay, we've got some players apologising. It's okay. I know that there's some boomers here, like playing in this game, like Nation and Yillen and such. It's fine. I think we only missed like about a minute of gameplay anyway. But
yeah, I mean, if that.
Yeah, we basically missed the last push. That was it. It was second point was basically capped by the time we lost it. But honestly, like really well played by the Czechs on that second map, and yeah, I think they were good for honestly winning that in regulation. I think like Nunya did great to fight back
It was
really late on.
Right?
Voxy as well, but like I think Nunya like kind of deserved to lose that in regulation on Granary.
Yeah, I mean, I probably agree with you. The fact that Nunya kind of got that push back out and managed to cap to bring it to 2-2 as well was kind of mind blowing. I was real surprised by it.
Yeah, well, on that note, I guess we can wrap up.
Yeah,
and wrap up in a good fashion. Quick shout out first of all to siyo, because I will tell you how this game came about. Right, is there wasn't enough people in Europe to cast this, so I was like, okay, I'll run a stream where like originally it was going to be me producing rook casting, and then I was like asking over like anyone else like from like Fireside or whatever to cast. Right, we didn't find anyone, and then siyo was like, yo, I could just produce for you guys if you want, and I'm like, okay, I guess we just run it on Fireside then. So big shout out to siyo. And also to Rook as well for helping this game actually happen, because otherwise this would have not managed to come through. So great stepping up. And again, I apologise for putting the match time on TMTV wrong, but we hope everyone's enjoyed it, and everyone who is a first time ETF2L watcher over on Fireside has had a good time. We haven't had any garbage time, so they can't complain about that. So it's been good.
Something else?
Yeah, I guess we can send off. So I don't know who we're gonna raid or whatever, but yeah, thank you everyone for coming, and maybe later on again we do more ETF2L here if things are running out and there's people available to produce. I'll be down. It's been good fun. Always like working with Fireside, but yeah, we'll see you all later.